I'd like to call that first witness.
The prosecution calls Jackie Whistler to the stand.
Ms. Whistler, if you could come forward, please, and be sworn. Ms. Whistler, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
Miss Whistler, do you know Sydney Wilson?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know Sydney Wilson?
Well, I shot her husband. I thought he was about to physically attack someone.
Could you please explain that for the jury?
Well, I was protesting at an anti-American rally, and he started charging at someone and seemed very angry.
What crime or crimes, if any, were you charged with for shooting Lawrence Wilson?
I've been charged with attempted murder.
And what is the current status of that charge?
Well, I've been offered a plea agreement where I would plead guilty to attempted murder, and as a part of that, I would plead guilty as an accomplice of theft and burglary to Pat Hopper.
So, part of the plea agreement that you reached with the state requires that you testify at this trial?
Yes.
Let's continue. What are your feelings, if any, about Devonians?
Well, many Devonians come to this country and they place their Devonian star over our American flag, which as a patriot I find very alarming.
Why is that?
Well, especially with this Pat Mama case going on. Devonians...
Your Honor, the Hat Bomber case is a prominent issue in Devonian culture, and it points the prejudice that certain people have against the Hat Bomber case could point a certain bias that Pat Hopper might have towards Sydney Wilson.
Oh, well, Your Honor, the Hat Bomber case is not the case which is being tried here today. Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
So the Hat Bomber case is,
Well, the Hat Bomber case is not related to the plea agreement.
how long would testify about that?
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
So why is it that as a patriot you feel threatened?
Well, I feel threatened when Devonians come to our country and they say that you can't get a fair trial in America. As a pro-American, we need people in America that support America.
And have you ever done anything to make these feelings about Devonians known to the public?
Yes, I've created a Facebook page where my followers can meet up and discuss their ideas.
What types of things were discussed on your Facebook page?
Well, the Hat Bomber case is one of them. We've discussed how ridiculous the notion of not being able to have a fair trial in America is.
Permission to approach the witness with what has been marked as State's Exhibit S2 in evidence.
No objection.
All right. I've shown you what has been marked as State's Exhibit S2. Could you please describe for the jury what is depicted in the upper left-hand corner of that page?
Sure, in the upper left-hand corner is a picture of a Devonian star with a circle and a slash through it.
And could you please explain what else is depicted on this page?
Well, the page is basically an invitation to protest an anti-American rally.
And when and where was this rally scheduled to be?
The morning of Sunday, July 4th at the Metro County Courthouse Annex.
So where does this invitation appear on the page?
It's in the middle toward the top, right above the postings.
What do you mean by postings?
Well, postings like these are basically where my followers can discuss any given subject.
And what was the subject of the postings on this page?
Well, I had started a contest among my followers to see which could get into the Wilson's home first and get their Devonian star. And to assist them in doing that, I posted the lockbox code.
Why did your contest target the Wilsons?
Well, the Wilsons, Mr. Wilson specifically, were spewing anti-American ideas and were supporters of the Hat Bomber terrorists.
By the way, how is it that you got the combination to the Wilsons lockbox?
Well, I'm a real estate agent, and I get the combination to the houses of those that are being sold, and the Wilsons were selling their home.
Miss Whistler, do you know the defendant, Pat Hopper?
Yes, I do.
And what was your first contact with Pat Hopper?
He contacted me about the contest.
And what was the substance of this conversation?
I explained to Pat how to use a lockbox code to get into the Wilsons' home.
Did there come a point in time when Hopper contacted you again?
Yes, he contacted me and told me he got a Devonian star. I was so happy.
And when did that conversation take place?
June 11, 2010.
Now, will you please tell the jury what was the substance of that conversation?
Pat called me and told me that he went to
Objection, Your Honor,
Wilson's
you're
home.
set.
Your Honor, Pat Hopper is the defendant in this trial, and what he said to her is not hearsay.
That overruled the
Thank you, Your Honor.
Would you like me to repeat that question?
Yes, please.
Would you please tell the jury what the substance of that second conversation was?
Yes. Pat called me and told me that he got into the Wilson's home using the lockbox code and that he got the Wilson star and took it out of the home.
And are you certain it was Pat Hopper on the phone?
Absolutely, I recognized his voice from our first conversation.
Did you ever have any further conversation with him?
I had never spoken with Pat over the phone, besides when he called me and told me he got the star. I was so happy someone had got the star.
Now, I'd like to direct your attention back to the Barstow page, specifically the postings you testified about earlier. Is one of the individuals who posted on this page an HSB baller?
Yes.
What did HSB baller post on the page?
Well, when I posted the lockbox code, HSB Baller liked the post, which means that HSB Baller supports me posting the lockbox code.
Did HSB baller post anything else?
HSB Baller posted, when will they learn? Soon, maybe?
Can you show the jury where on the page that posting appears?
Right over here.
And when was that posting made?
June 11th, 2010.
June 11, 2010. Was that the same day that Hopper called you saying he had gotten the star?
Yes.
And does HSB baller appear anywhere else on the page?
Yes, HSB Baller appears to be attending the rally.
How do you know that?
Well, on Facebook, each username gets an icon that represents them. And HSB Baller is the basketball going to the basketball booth, and that appears under the attending section.
Whistler, did you attend the July 4th rally at the Metro County Courthouse?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe what, if anything, occurred at the rally?
Well, Mr. Wilson was making an anti-American speech, and someone held up a Devonian star.
What, if anything, else happened?
Well, Mr. Wilson started to go a little crazy and started to charge at someone.
What, if anything, else happened after that?
Well, I thought he was about to attack someone, so I shot him to prevent that person from attack.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions. Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Good evening, Judge Whistler.
Good evening.
Jackie Whistler, you testified on direct that you spoke to Pat Hopper on June 11, 2010, correct?
I did.
You testified on direct that you spoke to Pat Hopper twice on June 11, 2010, correct?
I did.
Now, you also testified. Had you ever spoken to Pat Hopper prior to June 11, 2010?
Sure, I've seen Hopper at many anti-Devonian rallies.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Would you please point out in your affidavit where it states that you have seen Pat, that you have spoken to Pat Hopper before the 2 phone calls?
Oh, well, actually, I didn't include it in the statement because my prior conversations with Pat Hopper didn't have to do with getting the Wilson Devonian star. They were simply protesting at anti-American rallies.
So, you having spoken to Pat Hopper prior to June 11, 2010 is not evidence in this case, correct?
Well, it could be evidence of him protesting at anti-American and Devonian rallies.
Mrs. Whistler, you shot Lawrence Wilson, correct?
I did. I thought he was about to attack someone.
You mentioned on direct that you are facing attempted murder as a result of this, correct?
I am.
But originally you were facing murder 1, weren't you?
I was.
And you have now made a plea bargain with the state, correct?
I have.
That's why you were here testifying today, correct?
Well, I don't like testifying against another pro-American like Pat and anti-Devonian, but I must testify truthfully.
Jackie Whistler, would you please answer questions in yes or no form if possible? Mrs. Whistler, you said you are testifying here because of the plea bargain you made, correct?
The plea bargain is a part of my testimony, yes.
Jackie Whistler, you have now gone from from murder 1 down to attempted murder. 15 years in prison, correct?
Yes.
And you mentioned on direct that you, as a part of this plea bargain, are testifying truthfully, correct?
I am.
So you are expecting the jury to believe that you would attempt to kill Lawrence Wilson, but you would not commit perjury.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness already answered his questions and this seems irrelevant.
Will Your Honor impeaching the witness's truth of her testimony in court?
He doesn't have to accept the witness's first answer on cross-examination.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Jackie Whistler, you said that Pat Hopper called you and told you he had the star, correct?
He did.
Jackie Whistler, hearing MRHS witness.
Yes.
I present to you your affidavit. Jackie Whistler, you had already made a plea bargain when you gave this affidavit, correct?
Yes, I believe I had.
So you had already agreed to testify against Pat Hopper before you presented evidence that Hopper had told you he had the star, correct?
Well, I had experienced Pat calling me and telling me he had the star. I just hadn't written it down yet.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Whistler, why are you here today testifying against Pat Hopper?
I'm just testifying truthfully.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
No recross, Your Honor. Thank you.